She sold for $500 after being named Hollywood's most attractive woman by her mother. Demi Moore was a legend, beauty of the 20th century. Was she victimized? No. Her life was more than tragedy. It was living proof that to be loved by the world, you must first be loved by no one and bear a loneliness no one names. The world recognized Demi Moore from Ghost's iconic pottery wheel picture has become a symbol of love. But few recognized that beneath that in the bright light, she heard her voice echoing through the emptiness, the desperate plea, not a whisper of love. Save me. She was the highest paid actress in Hollywood, the most influential woman of the 1990s, admired for her beauty and strength. Demi Moore is no longer beautiful or cinematic at 62. Romance. Standing under chilly lights, she watches herself vanish at recollection, a gorgeous face fading away. The world hailed armored strength. A woman was underneath, weary from constantly being enough. Her story goes beyond stardom. A lifelong love quest. A 50-year trip across every agonizing terrain that if you've ever felt neglected, unseen, or unworthy, listen till the end. Not just Demi Moore's story, but ours. The narrative of those who fell, yet rose again despite no one waiting. Demi Moore was born November 11, 1962, in Roswell, New Mexico, famed for UFOs and alien mystery. For Demi, the biggest mystery was never skyward. The house where she first sobbed her way in the world. She felt fate mock her from birth. Parents divorced before she realized who father was. Her gorgeous but unstable mother woman with alcoholism drove her from city to city hunting for employment, a house, and hope, just to lose it again. A stepfather joined her. Demi was a small girl when intoxicated, unemployed, belligerent, and short-tempered. Whenever intoxicated, has shattered, shouted, and attacked. Instead of sheltering her, her mother joined his madness. Demi's childhood coincided with tears, dread, and alcohol smell. Nobody ever hugged her. Nobody ever confessed love. To escape attention, she learned to be silent and interpret adults' expressions to strike and thrive. Without love, that Demi's worst experience was at 15. A strange man her mother led him by her daughter's first night for $500 after he entered their home, but a youngster should never discover what the girl learned that night. Love sometimes people sell what they should have protected most. After that night, she fled. No dollar, no future, no home. She did odd jobs and slept on park benches. A model found job. Her frail, haunted face brutal, like it had 1,000 wounds beneath the surface. Hollywood spotted her, and like was a traveler with nowhere to go, became emerging star. The scary part was that even when the spotlight was on her, inner gloom persisted. She entered Hollywood as if entering another universe. One where everyone smiled brightly but lived under masks. Everyone was stunning and confident, seems to know who they were. Everyone but her, the girl who had never genuinely loved. She sought work, money, and attention to fill that void. Her obsession with work and severe exercise were all attempts to prove she was worthy of love. Demi Moore still felt like that small girl in a dark room, murmuring to herself as her mother sells her. If I were good, she met Freddie Moore, a 12-year-old musician, by chance to her. First man told her, "You deserve to be loved." They married. She adopted his surname. From then on, she was Demi Moore. Unfortunately, her marriage was a fantasy, like so much else. Demi remained lonely after Freddie cheated. She divorced him, drifting again through chaos. Her life. Yet Hollywood rebirths people. Every day. Everything changed with the opportunity. The 1990 film Ghost. A lady who loses her man, she loves him and feels him in spirit. A role that seemed tailored to her. Two-handed pottery wheels seen intertwined amid beautiful music, symbolizing love forever. Demi saw more than a movie scene. She chased her dream. Her life to find a forever love. Ghost was an enormous success, making Demi Moore one of Hollywood's most powerful and desirable ladies. She had all. Glamour, wealth, adulation. She became more terrified as people adored her. Regardless of light brightness, she was cold no matter how bright it was. After Ghost, Demi Moore became the symbol generations. She graced the red carpet in blinding flashing and hundreds of voices calling her. Designer dresses, dazzling praise, million-dollar checks. Everything rushed in. Hollywood praised her. A feminist icon. The first woman to demand equal pay with males, and box office queen. People admired her beauty, confidence, and sharp, tender eyes that appeared to hold both instant fire and tears. At heart, Demi Moore sang soul. Same girl who was never properly loved. She hoped fame would help her. Love would finally arrive when enough, rich, and desired. Fame simply amplified the desolation. Then one night at a party, she met Bruce Willis, a strong, masculine what she wanted mentally. Only 4 people talked and laughed out. Months later, they married. Hollywood gasped. Press called they were the 90s golden pair. Demi in white dress photos, Bruce smiles alongside her. It appeared like 2 stars had discovered each other at night. It did appear like that for a time. Fairy story. They have 3 rumor scout daughters. And Tula. They skied, laughed, lived in a cozy Idaho mansion, and appeared together during film premieres. She finally found happiness. They remarked, sometimes happiness is a facade. Bruce Willis was strong, but was always moving. He went and filmed nonstop, becoming a global star. Action star. Meanwhile, Demi, who had always feared being abandoned, raised their children in emptier rooms. The day Bruce was everything to her. She lost herself in love with him. She became uneasy whenever he departed, counting the days until his return. Every time he was late for a call, she made up 100 explanations. Because Demi always associated silence with being left behind. Then fissures appeared. Bruce became busy, distant, evasive. Demi felt hopeless as she pushed harder. Her efforts to keep him near proved this family was still worth loving. She clutched on tightly, but bliss slipped faster. She sometimes woke up at night eyed the empty space beside her and realized the scariest thing isn't solitude. It's feeling alone with someone lying next to you. Marriage occurs when began to disintegrate. Demi resumed her profession. She worked hard, taking on bold, forceful roles that challenged Hollywood. In Decent Proposition, she played a woman who lets a billionaire spend $1 million on her. Raw, contentious, and uncompromising. That only Demi could have played because it reflected her life. This girl was sold, and later she traded love for approval and celebrity. In G.I. Jane, shaved her head, trained like a soldier, and challenged herself to prove women could be as strong as men. She sweating through push UPS blood, and tears symbolized feminism. People lauded her. Hollywood called her Steel Woman. However, the steel hit a delicate heart. Because Demi Moore was alone once the cameras stopped rolling. Without love, she didn't know who she was. In 1998, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore split after 11 years. The entire Hollywood was startled. The relationship was once considered ideal. Love was simply another unfinished story. Demi cried, withdrawing from Hollywood, and took her 3 girls to Idaho, where the snow is white year-round and the solitude can be crushing. The heart says, I don't want to act anymore. I just want to be a mother. But being a mother to someone who was damaged by her mother was a difficult road. To make amends with her kids to become the ideal mother she always wanted. But that effort had something tense, weighty, as if she were compensating for her inner child, not her children. Rumor, her oldest daughter, recalled, young me I could tell my mother loved me, but also her horrible fear. Demi lived quietly, as if losing us would be her last. No films, interviews, or scandals. People believed she was retired. However, life had other plans. At a friend's birthday party, she met Ashton Kutcher, 25, about 15 years her junior. He brought a fresh air to Demi's life with his humor and vitality. They talked, then fell in love. Chuckled. They were labeled mother and son, a PR trick, a middle-aged hallucination. Demi didn't care. After years of concealing, she handled by infant, was again admired. She thought this love was magic. Ashton made her believe that happiness could be found at any age. She laughed more, hoping life would be nice this time. She lived lighter, loved madly as if for the first time. Reborn, but no one knew. Sometimes what makes us feel youthful also breaks us again. In the days that followed, Demi Moore, who once made the world look good, seemingly stopped time. Sat motionless in an empty room, listening to the clock like a sword slashing through her thoughts. No roles, no audience, no one strong, only for a naked woman face to face with her own fear. She thought she had survived poverty, grief, and loneliness. Her greatest agony occurred when she realized she no longer knew herself. After weeks of sleepless nights, intense dieting, and excessive tranquilizer and stimulant use. Demi Moore quit in 2012. Moore fainted during a home party and was a mess when the ambulance arrived. Doctors found her emaciated, shaking, and babbling. Complete physical and emotional fatigue was identified that years of rumors, loneliness, and abandonment dread led to. Breakdown. Media mobbed the hospital, screaming, "Demi Moore goes mad for love." The ghost. Beauty collapses. Media flocked like famished monsters. Demi departed after being discharged with no strength. She stopped all projects, cut media contact, left Hollywood, and hid. Some say she went to treatment, others to a convent. Sneering is the price of aging and vanity. But Demi was literally trying to survive. She had to learn to breathe slowly and softly again in the morning. Deeper breaths could break her heart. Some mornings she opened her eyes without knowing the day. She saw sunlight through the drapes and dust wafting into the air and hear her heartbeat faintly. Yet, in those seemingly pointless moments, she felt something deeply genuine. She had forgotten life in the midst of fame and noise. Demi started therapy, worked with specialists, and journaled her thoughts, simplest thoughts. Sometimes it was one phrase. "I'm here today, gone tomorrow," that she wrote. "I want to live." She learnt to forgive her addicted mother who hurt her, him who deserted her, those who betrayed her, and that little girl who believed being loved was enough. Her 3 girls healed slowly, replied. First tentative calls, then hugs. Demi glanced at them, familiar and distant, as they sobbed for lost years. Her first serenity came when she said, "Perfect isn't necessary, mother. They need mom." She restored her life gradually. Her fancy stuff progressively gone, replaced by she did yoga, lit candles, and framed family photos, strolled by the lake, and spent time alone without guilt. She stopped wearing cosmetics out. She stopped trying to be younger, prettier, or more deserving, which had plagued her all her life. She added, "I saw only imperfections in the mirror." Hollywood, as usual, quickly forgot its victims, old stars, but Demi no longer wanted its light or recognition. Her only desire was authenticity. Demi Moore launched her book in 2019. Inside Out was the rawest confessional memoir. A wounded soul recounted everything that broke in childhood, marriages, breakdowns, and the dark parts of her existence the public had never known. Wrote calmly, without blame or hyperbole. Demi had noticed life. Understanding made the book famous because people recognized themselves. The small, vulnerable, lonely pieces everyone has. Not because of controversy that readers were surprised to see Demi Moore no longer hiding or clinging to pride. A 57-year-old woman no longer scared aging ugly or abandonment. Only fear of living untrue to herself. Her public image changed from sex symbol to woman with tranquil eyes, gray hair, wrinkles, and a lovely smile. As if she had finally found peace that fame could never buy. When asked what made her strong, Demi grinned and said, "I'm weak. I had no other choice but to get up." Is the courage of someone who has reached the depths of despair and dared to go onward. The world sees a different past, and no longer a red carpet beauty, but a real person with scars and a soft light. She spends much of her time with family, meditation, writing, and little creative projects. She sits by the lake some nights with nothing to prove. The moon reflected on the river makes her happy because finally, after years of running, she has found herself. If asked, "What is your most precious thing learned from all those losses?" Demi replied quietly, "I exist before being loved. Learn to love really." Dawn didn't arrive from it was a subtle trembling from within. Demi Moore's calm room, where the breeze slipped flickered. First time in months, opened her eyes through the window. She felt hollow and did not want to die. Still hurt. Felt her body shattering as she touched a recollection. But something shifted. A delicate thread of light brought her back to life. Her first steps were washing her face, dressing, cleaning the battlefield house. She found ancient images and faces. Once made her giggle, now nostalgia. Instead of tearing them apart, she gingerly wiped the dust and put them back on the shelf. She said, "I won't hide anymore." Therapy began. Disliked having to name the agony face to face. But it was honest. She sobbed and trembled discussing her abused childhood, watching her mother self-destruct and abandonment dread. Perhaps she wrote in her journal, "We don't have to be strong always. Maybe courage is seeing the wound." Demi wrote a few words without turning away. Brief phrases, then her whole life. Every fragment, every scar, to understand. Forgive, heal. The pages became therapy and a guide. She returned to yoga, meditation, and breathing. Been laughed at. But when you're close to death, you appreciate even the smallest deed. Of breathing. She cried one morning while meditation. Instead of pain, she felt calm and lightness for the first time. Decades off her shoulders. She no longer required someone to make her. Complete. She no longer required love. She needed herself now, not lights or adulation. After Demi returned, Hollywood transformed. Her companions were now legends. Younger, more gorgeous celebs on the screen, but she no longer envied or lusted. Fear made her choose smaller, deeper parts that enabled her speak her truth. She was no longer the box office on set. Queen, but a woman who survived the worst night. People saw honesty and humanity in her eyes. After her memoir Inside Out was published, the world fell silent. Demi was no longer a movie star, ex-wife, or beauty legend in every line. She was a naked woman who told what others hid. She didn't consider herself brave, but others did. Truth sometimes, even raw. One interview questioned, "Do you regret anything?" Smiled, "I wouldn't have done it without it." Demi lost everything. Money, celebrity, marriage, faith. The only thing she kept and found anew. Was herself at 60, no longer seeking romantic love or proving herself. Herself. She enjoys quiet mornings with her pets, reading, doing yoga, acting in small films, or stepping on platform to discuss her self-healing. Hollywood may have forgotten her. Perhaps Hollywood has been left behind. Demi no longer needs the spotlight. Has found her own inner light, which no one can steal. When you see her today, her lovely smile, calm gaze, confident walk, you'll realize some people are most gorgeous when they're not trying. There are wounds that become wings when touched. Demi Moore has risen as a woman who burned and turned. Demi Moore loves the saying, "We can't start a fire that burns down." She once sought to cling on to the old chapter, to her past roles, loves, parties, and red carpets. She smiled, as if letting go meant disappearing. But she understood she was fully herself when she stopped clinging to others' perceptions of her. The late 2010s saw Demi on a New York small talk program. No evening gown, no makeup, softly draped long hair, and a kind smile. She described her experience in a deep, quiet voice that sometimes trembled. Everyone was silent as Demi Moore was not seen. They observed a woman who was broken but rebuilt with love. Choosing how to fall is more essential than how far you fall, she continued. Rise again. Many sobbed then, because they recognized themselves in her. Lost, lonely, adored. She and they feared their lives were finished after choosing the wrong person. Demi was still breathing, walking, and able to start anew without authentication. She uses her name elsewhere. She speaks at women's rehabilitation facilities about mental health, but she doesn't teach an expert, but speaks like someone who has survived hell and returned with a modest torch for others walking in the dark. At a gathering, a girl approached her and grabbed her firmly, crying, "Your narrative convinced me I could make it. Desire to live." Demi hugged the girl, seeing only joy. If one life may inspire another to live, then every agony she endures is worthwhile. Endured was worthwhile. People still wonder, what makes you happy now? She smiles. Freedom from my fears and having to be perfect. Free from others' images. Free to be mistaken, weak, be real. Maybe true happiness comes from bravery, not wealth. Demi has let go of the past. Give up bitterness and the idea that she needs love to exist. Rare social media post. I used to chase love. Finally, I understood love had never left me. It was in my heart, every scar and tear. Simply opening myself allowed me to perceive it. Her snapshot showed her sitting by a window, sunshine streaming over her bare face and squinted eyes, smiling softly like afternoon sunshine. No names, accolades, or audience. Demi Moore, who rose from ashes, is now at peace. Gentle breeze. Her route resembles many others that loved until they broke, were betrayed, ruined themselves, and wished to disappear. They found a little light in the darkness. From a human, the faint belief that I can still be different. If you're seeing this video, maybe you believe may be on that trip, trying to grin through a hard day. You may not feel good, beautiful, or strong enough. You may be thinking, I don't think I can make it. But Demi Moore did thought so, and she's still smiling, living, and truly gorgeous way. If you can only do one thing today, breathe. Just tell yourself, I won't give up. Accept the past, because sometimes just living today is a miracle. Uncover your wounds to learn about yourself. Kindness. And start over. Life constantly offers new opportunities that if you believe it's over, Demi Moore lost everything and then got it back another way, not via fame or anyone else. This is the ultimate victory. Love through herself. Leave a dot in the comments if you're in this story. People are still rising. Don't forget to subscribe because every tale is heartfelt, an environment where we recover together rather than paint life pink.